Hey Clayton, do you need any help?
I can't get the CD to play.
You realize that's a record player, right?
They're different?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, maybe you can help me out with this then, too. Welcome back to another episode of 300 Seconds of Science. I'm Clayton Schrock. This episode of 300 should be music to your ears because I'm going to show you how records, cassettes, and CDs work. Currently, digital is the most commonly used form of music storage, but I bet we all know at least one person that always insists that vinyl or 8-track just sounds better. As for CDs, they sound good too, but they have a tendency to skip. Plus, they're not old enough for hipsters to like them yet. First, let's talk about the platter. I'm talking analog. You know, the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust, Abbey Road, the dark side of the moon. Vinyls. I'm talking about vinyl records. Records are called vinyls because they're made from a polyvinyl chloride, which is a type of plastic. When records are made, the plastic is stamped with a series of grooves. These grooves are essentially the recorded noises being converted to a physical form. But no, that's not why they call it groove into the music. The grooves are made up of a left and right channel, which causes vibrations in the stylus. The stylus or needle runs along the grooves, causing it to vibrate in a very precise way. These vibrations move up a cantilever and into a cartridge. The cartridge is made up of a magnet and then a left and right coil. As the needle is vibrated from the grooves, it pushes the magnet towards the coils, sending out small electrical signals. These signals are sent down the tone arm and into preamplifiers and amplifiers, which are then played through speakers. So, it all starts with grooves, with microscopic ridges being pressed into a plastic. These cause vibrations in the stylus, which converts it to sound. Pretty simple, I know. Bonus fact, a couple years ago, Britain released a new 5-pound bill made up of a type of plastic. When it was held to a record, it could play music. Next, we have the track itself, the odd one out of the bunch, the square of the group. Cassettes. Instead of a groove or a needle, cassettes use magnetic tape. Magnetic tape had been widely used in studios, but people sought to have a more portable option that didn't need to be wound every time. The cassette is made up of a magnetic tape that is kept inside a plastic housing. This magnetic tape works by an electrical current being sent through a coil of wires that produces a magnetic field similar to that of a bar magnet. The tape is pulled through 3 separate heads in the cassette player: an erase head, a playback and record head, and then a capstan and pinch roller. The capstan and pinch roller is what pulls the tape through the other heads. The playback and record head and erase head are made up of ferromagnetic rings. Ferromagnetic is a type of metal which is typically iron, nickel, or cobalt. The tape contains tiny magnetic oxide particles, which reacts with the oscillating current sent through the heads. Different oxides or even metal particles can produce better sound quality. Finally, we have the compact disc, the thing that took the walk out of the Walkman and feared that it would skip. The Laserdisc. CDs are made up of a clear polycarbonate plastic and a reflective aluminum coating. In between these layers is a series of flat spots and bumps that follow a line spiraling from the center of the disc outward. As a drive motor spins the disc, a laser is shot at the CD and is bounced back to a sensor, which computes the laser as a 1 or 0. Whether the laser hits a flat spot or a bump determines how it's bounced back to the sensor. For example, a flat spot would be read as a 1 and a bump as a 0. This signal is then sent through an analog converter, which later determines the amount of voltage to output. The voltages are sent to speakers, which are made up of cones. The cones shake back and forth, creating sound. So, to break it all down, a bump or flat spot is a 1 or 0, which determines the amount of voltage sent to a speaker, causing sound. Talk about the magic of music. Not to stop you in your tracks, but this 300 episode has to come to an end. I really got into the groove of sharing science with you in a compact way. I'm Clayton Schrock, and if you'd like to check out the other science topics we've covered, be sure to go to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at ZTV 300 Seconds of Science. Also, look out for our next episode, where we talk about time travel technology. So many of our everyday items are made up of such a complicated and incredible science, so always remember to go out, enjoy life, and stay curious.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. To find out how you can make Emmy-winning media, visit the UA School of Communication online. ZTV. Make media. Make a difference.